So I want to show y'all kind of a fun technique to do with confetti because I love confetti very much. And the ones that I have here to show you, this is one of my favorite confettis that I've ever done. This is the Garden of Earthly Delights by Hieronymus Bosch, and this is another fine artist. This one is Anderson, and it's very, very pretty. So I love confetti very, very much, but as we all know, the bigger the flake, the worse the cover. It's going to want to fight and flake off of your shoe. So this is a fun little trick to just incorporate some confetti. So I've put a base coat. You need a coat of ultra fine underneath or extra fine underneath before you do this. Y'all can see I have the piece of Mardi Gras cup in there to keep the strap nice and firm. That I think is a small detail that makes a big difference. But now that I've got a dry coat of ultra fine, and it's okay if it overlaps a little bit, I'm going to trim the edges. I'm going to apply a nice even coat of Mod Podge there. Quiet, Moo. Tommy, you don't need to shush Maddie. All right. Matthew, come on, bud. All right. So I've got a nice even coat of glue there. Now I'm going to take my confetti and I'm going to pour. And be careful because it's gonna go everywhere. I'm gonna pour a nice, even confetti coat over the accent piece. And you don't want to finish your ultrafine because when we glaze this, it's gonna leak into the ultrafine, and I'll show you all that next. But isn't that very, very pretty? So if we left it like this, it would flake like crazy. So we're not gonna leave it like this, but we are gonna let it dry. All right. So this pretty confetti. You can use the confetti technique where you incorporate a sprinkle, and that's very nice, and I'll show you all that later, but all right. So she's looking very beautiful. Mostly clean the paper. All right, so I'm going to do the same to this one, but this time with the Walter Anderson, which is really, really beautiful. It's a bunch of very rich, naturalistic earth tones, and this is the Walter Anderson blue on there. I'm probably going to do that as well. Or maybe I'll do a different teal. We'll see. I'm on these, I'm putting the confetti before I finish making all my ultra fine choices because I want to pick good coordinates. All right, so nice even coat of glue. Okay, and I like to do it on smallish places. You could do it on a whole big boot. You could do as much as you want. I think it's just prettier if you're a little judicious with it. All right, so I've got an even coat, and I'm going to gently pour my pretty confetti over the whole strap. And as I said, the confetti, those pieces want to go all over the place. So, you know, be aware of the flaking. All right. So I'm going to let those two girls dry, and then I'll show y'all how we glaze and how we finish. Okay, so now the glue under the confetti coat has dried. So this was Mod Podge and Aleene's and then confetti. And if I left it like this, these would be really sheddy and it would flake off and I'd have bald spots and it'd be a mess. But what I'm gonna do is glaze. Now, normally I don't glaze, but on confetti, you can kind of get away with it. A little bit of glaze on confetti doesn't really diminish the shine and gives you a really strong hold. So it kind of lets you be sneaky. All right, so I've got some Mod Podge. I'm going to just thin it a little bit. You cannot use undiluted Mod Podge to glaze. It's just too thick. So I do like 50-50. And then I just paint that on. So this is why you don't finish all your, this is why you do this first and do your glittering secondary. You do need to put a coat of glitter under the confetti, but you don't want to be, your glaze will kind of get in the way of your ultrafine. So you're going to glaze and then let that kind of firm up. So you can see right now it's kind of milky, but you can already see the pieces kind of popping out. So we would let that firm up, painting that glaze on, and it looks super chalky right now, but when the glaze Mod Podge dries, it's the gloss Mod Podge glaze, and I've made a glaze out of it. So when the glaze Mod Podge gloss dries clear, it's going to be nice and pretty. And then we'll have a nice, strong, continuous layer of confetti that isn't going to shed. So once these dry, I can go ahead and do the rest of my glittering and my trimming, and then they're good. So it adds an extra step, but it's a way of doing kind of some pretty accent stuff with the confetti. I'll come back and show y'all what they look like dry. Okay, so some time has gone by, and now the glaze is dry, and this is a nice, continuous, solid, confetti glittered piece. So now I can go ahead and do the rest. You can kind of see where the glaze gunked it up a little bit, so you don't want to do the glaze until, you don't want to do the glaze at the end, you want to do the glaze relatively early on. But this is a nice layer of glitter, and that's not going to flake at all. It's nice and solid. So that's a fun way to incorporate confetti. So now I'm going to go ahead and glitter these with their ultrafine. Okay, so I initially did this one in teal, but I was looking at it and I just think it'll be really pretty with Gumbo Zerb. I think that'll pick up real nice. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to that. And I'm going to layer a little bit of the confetti into the Gumbo Zerb so it's continuous, and I'll show y'all what that looks like. And so now I'm glittering over the plastic coating that I put inside to reinforce it. And because the glaze is finished, you do have to be pretty careful with your edges because it's kind of hard to touch it up. So you want to take extra care that you don't need to. A little extra work to kind of get it in there. There we go. And I'm going to take a little pinch. This is how I would normally incorporate confetti. A little pinch all over. Pretty, pretty. All right. And obviously I'm going to continue to tinker with that, but that's already looking very pretty.